Uh-oh.
Do you have a seat, Dale?
Do I have to?
Please.
Sure. It's a little ridiculous, but...
Look, Dale, you know, I know that I like to fool around at work, right? And I might even, you know, I might even cross the line a bit. But the last thing that I want to do is make you uncomfortable. I mean, it's just not professional, you know? And I pride myself on being a professional. So from now on, what I would like you to do is just tell me, you know, when and if I cross the line. Okay?
Okay. Now.
What?
Well, now you're kind of crossing a line. Because you're naked.
Not naked, Dale. Can you see my pussy?
True. But I think even really saying the word pussy that's why.
That's crossing the line?
A little bit.
Starting to sound like a little faggot there, Dale.
All right,
Will you please stop saying that word? My daughter is listening.
Yeah,
and
you
we're
know
not
what,
on a
Scotty?
delay.
You know what, Scotty? Don't tell me you're offended when I say pussy, but you're not offended when Donald Trump says
Exactly.
I'm sweating through my clothes. It's this damn climate.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of let it hang all out. With a little bit of and a sprinkle of it. Let it just fall out. I like it when you girl, baby, make it.
Hold up!
I don't know if you noticed, but women are on a little bit of a rampage right now, and anyone could be taken down at any moment. So, you know, no, I'm not happy right now. Who could possibly be happy right now?
Oh, who's ready to party? Time's up, time's up, time's up, time's up, time's up, time's up.
Not exactly my idea of hottest female.
But these are all women, right?
These are all women who have assaulted boys and girls ranging from the age of 2 to 16. Keep it classy, Houston Press.
Such a terrible idea.
Like, how? Why did you think that this would be a good idea? And why would you ever want to put these women?
Inter-office memo. Doesn't get beyond that. You can't publish it. That's number. Here's the one I thought would win.
Because she's the youngest. Like.
By the way, I just was guessing. By the way, they all look so sad. What a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Terrible idea. I'm not going to say what everyone's thinking on that woman. The one before. Okay. I'm not going to say it. We're all thinking the same thing. Abstractly. Just let it go. I'm not gonna say anything because this is hideous. Was that all of them? Is that all 10? What is that about?
That was a bad idea on so many different levels. Okay, look, I don't think that it's understandable under any circumstance, right? But not only did they publish a stupid list, they published a stupid list that didn't have a single attractive woman in it.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are they just did this to get a little attention. We hadn't heard of the Houston Press before. Now all of a sudden we're talking about them.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of let it hang all out. With a little bit of and a sprinkle of it. Let it just fall out. I like it when you girl, baby, make it.
Hold up!
It was October 5th of last year when the New York Times published its bombshell article detailing decades of allegations of sexual misconduct against Harvey Weinstein. You can't even hear that name anymore in the way you used to, right?
I was gonna say, so I have a 17-year-old who's getting ready to go into college, and we've had these discussions at home now, and I didn't think I was gonna be having these types of discussions, but one of the discussions I was telling them, like, hey, look, keep your virginity, stay true to your Christian values, because you're seeing what's happening now. You go out there and you go out and you're having sex and you're doing it and you're talking about you're living it up in college. Well, all that can come back and haunt you. It can come back and say, hey, look, it was consensual. No, you know what? 20 years later, it wasn't consensual.
That's
so all of
the
a
thing.
sudden now, like, you got to really hold true to that. Otherwise, you can get attacked.
It's scary. It's got, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
While this year has been a reckoning for women in America, it's also got to be a scary time to be a man, because you have to
Absolutely.
worry about, like, where exactly is the line. And we all know rape is not okay.
Sure.
And grabbing a woman against her consent is not okay. But, you know, back in my day, when a man you were dating or, you know, you had a date with wanted to kiss you, he'd just kiss you. You know, he would just hold you, and there was
part of
no
dating.
asking for permission, or, you know, like you either went along with it, that was your permission, or you said no and pulled away, and that was your no. But today, I mean, you tell me, is it scary to be a man?
It's just, did somebody turn up the heat?
Oh yeah, you sweating? You sweating a little bit, Ronald?
No,
Yeah?
it's just the climate is.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Megyn Kelly, and I want to begin with 2 words. I'm sorry.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of let it hang all out. With a little bit of and a sprinkle of it. Let it just fall out. I like it when you girl, baby, make it.
Hold up. Oh, it's because of the culture that they grew up in. Karen, give me a thank you. Look, everything's going great, but you're not being reasonable. You're being ridiculous. Give me a thank you. Give me a thank you for feminists for getting your right to vote. Otherwise, stop voting and go make me a ham sandwich.
The expansion of the franchise is a lot more complicated than what we've challenged. Saying the draft was unconstitutional.
Karen, yada, yada, yada. Do you want the right to vote or not? Are you going to give a thank you to the women who fought so hard, sometimes risked their lives to get you that right to vote? Or are you going to just keep saying, oh, well, the women of Saudi Arabia love wearing their burqas, and the women in Britain who, while being oppressed and not having the right to vote, said, yeah, they like bending their neck and telling men that, yes, we shouldn't vote, we're silly little women. Are you going to give me a thank you for that, or are you just going to keep on blah-blah-blah on that?
The apology is very thoughtful. It says the hot offenders list, an explanation and apology. And he says, our item about the 10 hottest women on the sex offenders list generated controversy. Here was the genesis of the idea. He says, I spoke to 2 veteran child porn prosecutors for a Q&A about how they did their job. And they talked about how child predators don't fit into any category and how some might be women, and women who you didn't expect would fit into that category. And then he said, I give him an idea of how how dangerous predators aren't always what you'd seem, like sort of overweight, oily, fat guys, that they might be attractive women. So then he thought of an item of 10 sex offenders who don't look like sex offenders, he said. But then that seemed boring, so he said. And then he was like, so how do we get eyeballs? How do we get clicks? The same thing we all think about in this business. How do we do that?
Describe them as hot.
Right, so he thought, I thought 10 hottest, just thinking, he says without thinking, like, because that, you know, it's the internet, everything's hottest, everything's biggest, best, worst. So he said he wrote an over-the-top intro. He says, trusting the outrageous headline, and he says anything hottest sex offenders, he knew that would get clicks, would indicate that this was fully intended to shock. He thought it was obviously that it would be, he said, that's why I made the conscious decision to include the victims' ages, which he did, to show that, quote, normal-looking people you could pass any day on the street or who you might think of hot could actually be monstrous criminals, essentially is what he's saying. You know, but he wrote a really good apology.
That was a great apology. And it got the Houston Press a lot of
Tremendous attention.
Right.
what changes in demographics is that he wins white males in such overwhelming numbers that it overcomes every other demographic advantage Hillary has.
Come sit in your lap.
Oh,
How's
Jesus
it going?
Christ. Hey, Alex Jones, how you
Good
doing?
to see you, man. You're looking sexy.
All right.
Hey, how's the revolution going? You guys starting the revolution?
We are indeed, Alex. The revolution is afoot. Welcome to the Young Turks.
You know what's wrong with America is not?
I am going to restore American democracy along with progressives and conservatives in this country.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, I am really, really proud to be here with you. It's good to meet you in person.
I don't think
How are you guys doing?
We're doing okay.
You like all our Hillary for Prison shirts everywhere?
No, I kind of despise it.
What shirts are they?
I haven't seen any of them.
You haven't seen? Oh my God! You didn't see me? I don't exist. If you didn't see me,
I'm not.
All right, guys. Okay. Here,
look at this.
let me
I
see.
got a new shirt for you right here. It's rape. It's Bill Clinton that says rape. Oh God, hide that immediately. That's the big no-no that Roger Stone's banned.
All right,
for.
you want to take my show over? I'll take your show
Sure,
over.
go ahead.
Okay, you know what? Who does this kind of shirt? First of all, a sick guy. Second of
Bill
all,
Clinton's
you
not
know,
a rapist, folks.
No, you know who's accused in
Get
court
her, Stone,
papers.
come on.
You know who's accused in court papers of being a rapist? Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump, Roger Stone. You know that. It's in court papers.
Oh, yeah?
And you're a sick dude, Roger Stone.
Hey, I want to have a rant off with you right now.
You assault me all the time. You never give me a chance to respond.
Oh, you know, I should give you a hatchet job. A job
Bullshit,
to
we'll
respond.
get the mic.
You're a
Come on in.
sick man, Roger
Come on,
Stone.
You're a liar.
Roger,
No,
get in
you're
here.
the world's
Well, get him
biggest
in here.
liar.
Get him in here.
Didn't you admit that you lied about Elliot
Get up here
Spitzer?
right now.
Didn't you already admit that,
You're
you
not
piece
afraid
of
of him,
crap?
are you? You're not
a piece
afraid of him. Get him in here.
And first of all, Alex, this ain't
him
your
up
fucking
here.
show.
I know,
Okay?
no.
And
Oh, so
Roger,
you're afraid to
it
debate
certainly
him?
ain't your fucking
Are
show.
you afraid to debate him?
Okay. Afraid? Are you kidding me? No.
All you do is lie. You're known as the biggest liar in media. You're the biggest liar in media.
Tim the lie, loser. There's nobody watching this show, dude.
Guys, can you get out of my set, please?
Don't get too mad. We gotta have a.
Gotta go.
Well, first of all, he's actually mad. He's actually really upset.
Sorry, can you get out?
Hey, don't touch my camera.
You want fucking attention? Get off the stage, you fat fuck! Get off! Get off the, yeah, you do!
Don't touch my camera.
Get the fuck off the
The
stage!
Saudi Arabians aren't funny enough. You don't see
Shut the
us.
fuck up, bitch!
First of all, let me explain something.
No, Jake, relax!
Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass! We talk about that all the time! We talk about that all the time!
You don't know
You
what
don't
you're
know
talking-
shit! What, you think the lizard people are in charge?
No.
Is that what you think?
Hey, you're pissed. We're
Bilderberg?
kicking your ass.
Is that what you think?
You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed.
Bullshit!
We're being nice here.
You know what I care about? I care about the American people.
Good. You're the one flipping out. Anybody hurt? I'm being nice. I'm not lying.
Everybody get the fuck off my stage! Get the fuck off my stage!
Okay, so we have a bunch of people who wanted to make phone calls to the show because we wanted to have a discussion. So let's have the first caller.
Hi, Cenk. I'm not sure if you remember me. I was on your show a while back, and you asked me, demanded that I make you a ham sandwich, and I was just kind of wondering if you still wanted that sandwich. I could probably put it in the mail for you.
Well, okay, Karen. Everybody knows I said that as a joke. Okay, and you didn't fucking make me a ham sandwich. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Get the fuck off the phone. Get the fuck off the phone.
Get off the phone, you anti-woman, poor sandwich-making fuck!
Get off!
I'm a feminist. I'm the real feminist, bitch!
I can't pretend like I'm some robot that's always neutral. I need to share my opinion, and sometimes aggressively so.
If a group of people decide that they disagree with you enough to hate you, they can, and oftentimes will be, relentless in putting out misleading propaganda about you. I should know. As long as they have access to the internet, they can do or write anything about anyone. If the content goes viral, more often than not, people will just believe unsubstantiated claims about anyone. And again, I should know. Look, if you've ever Googled me, chances are that you've come across a meme that features an angry-looking picture of myself with the quote, "I'm better than you." Maybe I should have clarified where that quote came from a long time ago, but let me start this off by clearly stating that I don't think I'm better than everyone. That's a ridiculous thing for anyone to say. If you want to attack me for being overly emotional or for passionately, defending those who are defenseless, then go ahead, you can attack me all you want. But am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage, okay? If you get a rise out of attacking the powerless, you're garbage. Oh, the trolls got so sensitive about that. We can't have a woman telling us that she thinks she's better than us. But look, they took that statement, I'm better than you, out of context and used it in ways to make it seem as though I thought I was better than the general population, which of course I don't. Or that I think people who disagree with me politically are less than me. I have no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay?
Yeah, me too.
I think so poorly of them, and the reason why is because, look, I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb. When you vote for someone who openly treats women like second-class citizens, who talks about them as if they're nothing more than a piece of meat, who has been accused of sexually assaulting them, who has been caught on tape talking about groping them and grabbing them by the pussy without consent, yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, okay? You are voting against your best interests. I'm losing my mind tonight because of how stupid the majority of the country is.
I'm fucking better than you.
Yeah,
I'm fucking better than you.
Yeah,
I'm fucking better than you.
Okay, much better than, right?
Yeah,
I'm fucking better than you.
Yeah,
I'm fucking better than you.
Yeah,
I'm fucking better than you.
You are garbage, right?
I thought you were the tough guy. What? He was caught on tape also saying this. Oh, you're not so tough anymore. That's weird. Okay.
Spent the night with Amy Schumer, certainly not the first guy to write that.
Because that didn't happen. There is no mental issues with Hillary Clinton.
It's unbelievable. Now, before I read it to you, let me just make this note. Ron Paul supporters who say, hey, well, he didn't write it, somebody else did. Give it up, dude. Okay, I'm not interested in that defense at all. You're going to tell me that somebody let this kind of writing go on for decades in his name and didn't do anything about it? Even if he didn't write it, that he's not complicit in that? Oh, come on, you'd have to be an idiot or cult of personality obsessed fool to believe that Ron Paul didn't believe this stuff when he wrote it in the Ron Paul newsletter for decades and decades. So, you say, oh, well, how bad could it be? Well, let's...
So after he called her a slut, on fake comments on women's Facebook pages calling them sluts, she then went ahead and contacted the employer, and Nolan got fired. On the internet as a slut, as every negative, terrible word you can imagine, you should just sit there and take it. You shouldn't hold the person who's on a public forum insulting people accountable for his actions, because that would be unacceptable.
So Tariq Musa wrote about this on Daily Beast and pointed out some interesting things and saying, look, it's weird that people say freedom of speech. Now, first, of course, let's just get the obvious out of the way, which is freedom of speech is so the government can't take away your rights. So, and freedom of speech applies both ways. He has the freedom of speech to call her a slut, and the government can't lock him up. It doesn't mean that his employer can't fire him if he says that. If he had called...
Omari Akil from Medium wrote...
Oh, it's because of the culture that they grew up in. Karen, give me a thank you. Look, everything's going great, but you're not being reasonable. You're being ridiculous. Give me a thank you. Give me a thank you for feminists for getting your right to vote. Otherwise, stop voting and go make me a ham sandwich.
The expansion of the franchise is a lot more complicated than what we've challenged, saying the draft was unconstitutional. Because
Karen, yada, yada, yada. Do you want the right to vote or not? Are you going to give a thank you to the women who fought so hard, sometimes risked their lives to get you that right to vote? Or are you going to just keep saying, oh, well, the women of Saudi Arabia love wearing their burqas, and the women in Britain who, while being oppressed and not having the right to vote, said, yeah, they like bending their neck and telling men that, yes, we shouldn't vote, we're silly little women. Are you going to give me a thank you for that, or are you just going to keep on blah-blah-blah on that?
Ridiculous. And
so look, there's other stuff in here that's sort of a little bit scary and a little bit embarrassing. But first, let's talk about this comment, because I know we had a disagreement in the production meeting about how bad this is for Donald Trump. Obviously, it's not going to, look, if he can be absolutely insane and be president, this comment's probably not going to hurt him too much. But I do think that it's interesting. I think it's important to remind people that he wasn't 18 at this point and has since changed his view of women. This is a guy who's almost 60, I believe, when he said this. This is a guy who had brought his then girlfriend, Melania, there. And so as his girlfriend is doing pictures for Maximum Golf, he's telling a reporter, look at that first-rate pussy over there. I have a girlfriend. Imagine if she found out that as she's helping me do a profile, I'm bragging to a reporter about the body parts I love on other women in like the weirdest, most clinical, most crass way possible.
Yeah.
And one other thing, so it's not just the context that this is a reporter. One other thing, this is not simply a guy who has negative views of women. Of course, back during the campaign and since, this has affected how he actually treats women. In terms of the policies he proposes, his executive orders, the fact that he has appointed almost no women to be judges, these views that he have of women are substantive. They affect what actually happens now that he wields governmental power.
Okay, I on the other hand don't think this is a real controversy, so drop it. The court is in order. I believe that John Iadarola spoke out of order in doing a preemptive case there for the jury. But no, look, here's the thing. The Access Hollywood tape where he admitted to sexual assault is super important because he says, I don't ask for permission, I just grab him. In this case, he's making a lewd comment about a woman. And I think that if we conflate those two things, we don't do justice to the Access Hollywood tapes. And I think that we also lose a lot of people because I think a lot of guys in the country go, okay, look, that's a crude, bad thing to say, but have people said that amongst guys? A lot of guys, they might not have said it in that way, right? Mm-hmm. But will they talk about how hot women are? Come on, of course.
I think the way matters.
Okay, yes.
I think the context matters.
But remember, he's not president at the time. He's just a clown-ass showman, and he, and so, John, if you say that he talks like this, and it might reflect his true feelings about women, yes. I mean, look, my God, in another instance, again, one that was far more impactful, his wife is pregnant. Melania, okay, just a couple of years later, she goes upstairs to change in the middle of an interview. He takes the reporter around and then sexually assaults her in his daughter's bedroom.
Too weird.
And I don't want to lose the impact of those sexual assaults by getting into, well, he said something bad that I don't like.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
So you compared it to the Access Hollywood. They also tried to pitch that as, oh, that's just a random one-time locker room thing. This apparently is a multi-year pattern of him bragging in this sort of way to reporters he's talking to.
So I want to ask you guys and then bring JR and Irina into it. Is Trump calling a woman this comment, and it's pretty bad.
Can't even say it, that's how bad it is.
I know. Is it a controversy or B, locker room talk? And it's
fake news.
tyt12network.com/firstrate to vote in this poll. I'm curious what you guys say. I am actually going to vote locker room talk. So, JR, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, not a controversy only because we already know this about him. How many times on the Howard Stern show did he say things like this? How many times he said to any other reporters or anyone else he sees, this is who he is, which is why we knew not to vote for this guy in the first place, because it does affect how he treats people and how he puts agendas down. So, yeah, it's a big deal, but we already knew that, so it's not a big deal.
So, but which way are you going to vote? Locker room talk? Or?
Yeah, because it's who he is. We know that. It's locker room talk because that's him.
All right, Irina, what do you think? So
Coolidge was a perv.
Yeah, so what do you do with a comment like this? Is it, do we say it's bad? Like, It's just that's why the categories are weird of locker room talk or controversy.
You hope that some of the men on the Republican side who talk about their great reverence for women and how much they care about them will change their view of Trump. It's not gonna happen. You hope that some of the Republican women who have been able to convince themselves, no, he doesn't hate everything about me and my kind. Maybe think for a second, maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he has for a really long time, going back decades. Maybe he thinks that at best, you are a first-rate whatever.
Right.
And then there's other ratings underneath. But that's basically how he sees women.
But again, to Irina, it's like to what degree is this like offensive, so offensive that it would change could it change your opinion of a Clinton or a guy that you like? I mean, we know who Trump is, but you see what I'm asking?
Yeah, I guess, so what you do with this is you take it and you put it in context as to who Trump is, right? This is a guy that has walked into a room of naked 15 to 19-year-olds, the Miss Teen USA pageant, right? And then he went on Howard Stern and he bragged how he can get away with things like this, right? He's been accused of groping women, it goes all the way to rape, right? So this is why this is relevant. It's very telling of who Donald Trump is. The fact that he just goes ahead and just nonchalantly talks about this to a reporter, it's normal for him. This is who he is. And so that's why it's important. It's not just, insignificant, what you would call locker room talk from other guys. But even if that's what that's how you spend your time having fun by, like I said, objectifying other human beings, then come on, you can do better than that. I'm having fun too, but I can do it without referring to people's specific body parts, right?
Yeah. So,
or you could not do it with a reporter at the very least.
Yeah, look, last thing is that I think context is very, very important. That's I think what Irina is driving towards, which is that, look, you might have said you might have gone to a Chippendale show and said, well, that guy does have a nice ass, right? Or you might have said things among your guy friends about women, etc. But context is important. Knowing what Trump has done, then you get this quote and you go, it might be locker room talk, but given the context, we know where he was going with it. And by the way, to be bipartisan, and we don't know that Clinton said anything like this, so I'm being slightly unfair to him. But he also has those issues, and so in that context, it would have been bad. Whereas if you hear about someone that that never acted that way or never spoke that way,
Elizabeth Warren,
or I don't know,
foul-mouthed woman,
or a Republican who's an annoying guy who gives money, gives tax cuts to the rich, but doesn't do this stuff.
Yeah.
Then you have a different standard, and that's probably fair as well. You just watched a video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.
A newly released audio from back in 2005. Donald Trump was caught on a hot mic while waiting to appear on a soap opera. Now, a little spoiler alert for you before we roll this. When he doesn't know he's being recorded, it gets really weird. Let's listen.
And she's still very beautiful. I moved on her, actually. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my man! Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your
sets this up. That is very.
Will you give me the thumbs
Look
up?
at you. You are a
You gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
else
off first?
Yeah, let me. It's very fun.
You gotta give me the thumbs up.
You and I will walk there.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy. You can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
Down below. Pull the hand.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how
nice
are
seeing
you?
you. Terrific.
Pleasure to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little hug,
Okay,
darling?
absolutely.
How about a
Melania
little
said
hug for
this
the
was
bushy?
okay.
I just got off the bus.
Oh, bushy, bushy.
There we go. Excellent. Well,
Come
you've
on.
got a nice co-star here.
Good.
Yes, absolutely.
After you.
That's wow. Context: he had gotten married to Melania a couple of months earlier, apparently.
So he is married at that point.
Yeah, newly married to
Yeah.
a beautiful woman.
Okay, so when I first started hearing this, in the beginning I was like, okay, the dude's cheesy, but it hasn't gone over the top yet. I was like, maybe I even pardon him. Like, so I move on him heavy. That's not.
Sounds weird.
It sounds super weird. It's such a Donald thing to say. But he's aggressive, I guess, before he was met. Whatever, right? I buy them furniture. Oh, that's like, to me, that sounds super sad. But like, okay, he can buy them furniture. He can do that. I guess that's a move. That's a heavy move, right? Maybe literally. Then he gets to, I act without asking, basically.
I don't even wait.
I don't wait. I just kiss them.
It's like a magnet.
No, there's no magnet. You're the one acting, right? Now, I don't know what the other side of that equation is.
It's decent of him to ask for Tic Tacs, though.
Yeah. And he's getting ready. I mean, because he moves right away, right? And then obviously the line about I grab him by the pussy. And then I'm like, okay, no, we've crossed the line here. Okay, we found the line and we clearly crossed it. And then to me, I know this is going to sound weird, but maybe the most disturbing part was when they got off the bus.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of guy talk, okay?
And Billy Bush being as pathetic as a human can be.
Totally.
The Donald is scored. I want you to like me.
Yeah, hug him. Hug the Donald.
No, that's it. When they got off, it went from the natural flow of that conversation. They're talking about the hot girls and stuff. And you see a hot girl, you want to talk about it. I get it. Guys are guys, right? But then they're like, hug the Donald, right? And then hug me. And I was like, oh, if I had just seen them getting off the bus, I think it's no big deal. They just got a hug. Come on, calm down, right? But when you see the flow of the conversation, you're like, oh, this is what they do, right? And hey, the Donald is here. Come on, give him a hug. And he's ready. He's got the Tic Tacs in, and he's ready to make whatever cheesy movie he's going to make. Now, of course, they're not going to do it on tape once the cameras are rolling and they're off the bus. But God knows what happens later and how many times he's grabbed them by the pussy.
Which, by the way, I've been in locker rooms and fraternity houses. I've been to Jenk's house. I've never, ever heard anyone say that thing that he said. I don't even know what that means.
What is that?
It's just
He sounds
bizarre.
like people were saying, it sounds like in 40-Year-Old Virgin when he's like, yeah, I grabbed her boobs and they felt like bags of sand. It's like you sort of heard guy talk, but you don't really know what it is.
Yeah, you want your older brother to come and say, no, Don, you don't do that.
You don't move on them heavy. What is that even supposed to be?
And in fact, the most awkward line is, I moved on her like a bitch. No, you got it reversed. You're right, it's 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Well, I mean, there's so many things. The buying furniture routine, like I never even heard of that one. I don't know if that one ever actually worked. But there's no, and I'm the same way. I've been around locker rooms, hang around ball players, hang around guys who women do throw themselves at. If you've been around pro athletes, that's a group where there are women who are just like, yeah, I'm here. Even they don't, so I grab him by the pussy. Like, nobody leads with that. No. You know, there's nowhere in society where that's not illegal and wrong. Where, you might grab him by the hair or what, but I grab him by the pussy. No, you never, I mean, and the other thing is, you're on a bus. that says Access Hollywood on the side. You know there's a microphone on that bus. You know what I mean? Like, that's one situation where you know they're recording what the whole premise of the show
you imagine Billy
is
Bush
to catch people.
The sound guy must hate Billy Bush.
Yeah.
You know, that's
well, we've seen that happen before.
We have.
Chris Matthews, I believe.
For sure.
It's clearly sabotage.
This is about Donald Trump, and obviously we're judging him as president potentially of the United States, which I'm convinced and always have been that he never will be. But let's just give 23 seconds to Billy Bush. The guy's got to lose his job, right? I mean, he's done, right?
Who knows?
I mean, that's pretty incriminating stuff for your national host on an entertainment show, no? I mean...
Oh yeah, I mean he was totally going along with all
playing
of
it up. I mean, sort of feeding.
No, you know what I got out of that,
You're gonna
Michael?
trust him to interact with women, like what he was doing with the woman who was just there trying to do her job.
Yeah. No, I hear you guys, and maybe that'll happen, and they're a lot more risk averse than apparently the American people. The American people are like, maybe we gamble the fate of the planet on that guy, on Trump.
Yeah.
Right? But probably Access Hollywood would be like, it's too much of a risk
Well,
to
that
keep
would be
Billy
ironic,
Bush.
right? That he becomes president, but Billy Bush loses his job.
Totally possible. Totally
he just
possible.
takes down one Bush after another.
Right. Well, no, but it would be interesting, though, if, and I tweeted this earlier, so I'm kind of proud of it, but if, in the end, a Bush is what takes down Donald Trump.
Yeah. And so, but to me, what I got out of it most was Billy Bush being so solicitous, right?
Yes.
And that's how they are. That's how they get the interviews. That's how they get the access. Oh, yeah, Donald, here comes the Donald. I was like, oh, you're so pathetic, right?
I was waiting for him to say, and here's the bus driver. Why don't you give him a hug, too?
Right. No, and then, oh, I hope she's not the publicist. You know, I mean, even the ugly stuff she was saying about the get out of the way, shorty. There must have been like.
I wish that these guys would run into truly strong women, and when I mean like physically, like a UFC fighter woman who
Ronda
literally
Rousey.
would just deck them and be like, "Grab my pussy now, get up." You know what I mean? That would be so cool to watch because their view of women is so skewed, so wrong. Just to have a woman come at them in their way. Come at them exactly the way they come at, go at a woman.
Well, I wish we had a hot mic when he encounters Melania later today.
We're
not going to.
By the way, if Billy Bush does get fired, he's going to say, they're kicking me out. They're kicking me out.
And by the way, look, we're having fun with this, obviously. We realize that in comparison to the threat that Donald Trump poses in terms of his casual attitude towards the use of nuclear weapons or his willingness to default on the U.S.'s debt, those are worse things, but this is funny today. And also very telling about his personality. Now, I want to give you the reactions or some of the takes from women in Trump's life who are important to him. So this is earlier this year, Ivanka Trump defending her father, saying, look, I'm not in every interaction my father has, but he's not a groper. It's not who he is. And I've known my father, obviously, my whole life, and he has total respect for women. He's not a groper, but he will grab him by the pussy. He will do that.
No, but that's a total conservative mentality. If it doesn't happen to me, it doesn't happen. Right?
But he gropes her, too. We've seen that.
Yeah, he did. He did an ass
Daughters
grab
are not
on
immune.
his daughter.
We know that obviously Hillary Clinton immediately responded, this is horrific. We cannot allow this man to become president. Tim Kaine desperately wishes he could have added this to the things he tried to make Mike Pence answer for at the last VP debate. So he tweeted about that. Also, by the way, so this became huge news on social media. It took over media. About 45 minutes go by, and I decided to see how is the right wing responding to this. And so I typed in, I went to foxnews.com and saw this. The yellow is highlighted every instance of Trump. You'll see that not even in the tiny little we're gonna hide it section do they even mention this. This is 45 minutes to an hour after the story broke. I don't have the pictures, but I did the same thing for Drudge, no reference whatsoever. Breitbart, no reference whatsoever.
So it didn't
Doesn't
happen.
exist.
Right.
Doesn't happen. Not the biggest scandal
And
of
how
the day.
about the evangelical voters, right? How did they keep excusing themselves for supporting this guy?
No, I know why. Because let's be real about evangelical voters, right? They're. If I'm being kind and say that they're not hateful, which would be pretty kind, they're at least function on fear and fear alone. So fear of the others, the gays, the Mexicans, the Muslims, the blacks, anyone who isn't like me, right? It has nothing to do with their so-called values. Because anytime somebody violates their so-called values and they're a Republican, but they hate the same or are fearful of the same people, Muslims, Mexicans, etc., they're like, yeah, no problem, no problem. Well, that's Jesus Christ, is all about, redemption, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
He found God.
So Scott DeJarlais, 3 abortions, Republican congressman from Tennessee. 2 of them are with his wife, 1 with a mistress. And he's
Re-elected twice since then, by the way.
Yeah, as a family values conservative. David Vitter had sex with multiple prostitutes, 1 that he has confessed to. But then he found the Lord Jesus Christ right afterwards, right? So that's all right? Now, whenever it's a Republican, it's totally okay.
It's fine, right?
It's
What about
100%
Henry
okay.
Hyde? Henry Hyde, who headed the House Impeachment Committee, right, had another family. They found out after he had a whole other family.
That's how much he values
He
them.
thought that
Right.
Bill
He
Clinton
wanted
was
2 of
so
them.
right. That's right.
Double the family values.
Was so bad because of what he did with Monica Lewinsky that we cannot have this moral, assault on America. Henry Hyde was hiding literally a family.
Yeah.
So
But they're
Gingrich
also-
and, by the way, Gingrich and Livingston, 2 huge Republicans at the time, having affairs while investigating Clinton's affair.
Yep.
But they're all right.
Rudy
Gingrich almost
Giuliani.
won the last time around. Big Trump supporter this time. Giuliani, giant affair, very public in New York, now criticizing Hillary Clinton for the affair her husband had. There is no end to their hypocrisy.
They're also not big fans of women. So when you have this woman, this beautiful Hollywood actress being groped or whatever, she's kind of asking for it by standing there looking beautiful and showing her legs. Like that's also
Right.
part of it, that these women, they lead you astray. Like he was on the bus trying to be a good Christian, and then she just stood there throwing it at him like a magnet.
Yep.
Like
It
a
all
magnet.
comes out
so
in the wash.
You
It's
you
so
can't
true.
blame him
Don't
for
like
that.
women. The hurricane. They don't like black people. So Haiti, enough. That's somebody else's problem. It just keeps coming up in different ways all the time. There's a consistency to the hypocrisy.
Yeah, and so now when you throw that in their face, as is happening today in social media, the right-wing reaction is, well, Clinton did it too. Yeah, but you guys impeached him for that. And so now you want to turn around and go, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. We should elect Trump anyway. Make him president. Make him president.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of what you said about Clinton. Get him away from being president.
Right.
He's so immoral.
Now, I want you to imagine a scenario for me. This man walks into work one day, sees a woman, and says, I like your dress. Oh, mildly sexual, but innocuous enough. Yeah. Now, imagine the same sentence spoken by this man. Whoa. Yeah. Suddenly, you're very uncomfortable. We're all uncomfortable just looking at him now because he's gross. He's ugly. He's a little bit of a monster. Now, is it this man's fault that he looks this way? No, he was born this way. But the point is, I know it's not my fault. Is it your fault? I don't think so. It's certainly not the woman's fault. The point is, know your place, monster man. Your time's up. Now,
The top 10 hottest women of all time.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of let it hang all out with a little bit and a sprinkle of it. Let it just fall out. I like it when you girl, baby, make it. Oh.
All right, now number 2 is someone who has surged in the last year and helped me to surge in the last year. Now, right, it's
so hot in here. I mean, I feel like they crank up the
Oh,
heat.
they cranked it up. I'm roasted.
again, she got great body. I saw her in person, great body, but I can't do it. And I'm sure a lot of people would do it, but it's not for me. We're looking at overall package here, and I'm going with overall package of Spricket 24. I've met her in person, but I'm discounting the fact that I think she's smart and that she has a very good personality, right? Because that would be unethical to consider in this list of hotness. But it's a big fall. It's a big fall. I mean, there's still things that are holding up there. Okay, and she's still, beautiful and sexy and cute and all that stuff. But I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it this year. I looked at a lot of videos, to be honest with you. These are very important considerations. And I had to drop her down to number 6.
She totally does look like a 13-year-old, and I think that's what the guys are into.
Is she super hot? No question. But to me, she's a little too, it doesn't have enough character. She's gorgeous, and she dresses up like a schoolgirl. I got it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, she's number 6 on the list. She's top 10. She's great. I just think the other 5 are better.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of let it hang all
feel good.
Hey, don't let him get to you, okay? Your tits are fine.
She moves her body like a cyclone, and she makes me wanna do it all night long.
The top 10 hottest women of all time. Not of all time.
Ever.
Now, are you ready for the top 10 hottest women alive? All right, let's do it. All right, before we get to the top 10 hottest women, let me tell you who didn't make the list. The Megan Foxes of the world don't make my list.
Okay.
Okay, so because she's generically
Because they're
super
too
hot.
hot.
Too hot, right? And then celebrities that are considered hot just because they're celebrities don't make my list.
Mhm.
Like Kate Hudson and Drew Barrymore, who are Drew Barrymore I don't think is hot at all. Period.
Mhm.
Right? And Kate Hudson's all right. I mean, she's got a pretty flat face, right?
Right.
But they're just considered hot because they're celebrities. They're not making the list. Jessica Simpson, we have the period where she got a little blown up, and that wound up knocking her off the list. I mean, how do you put this in the top 10? You can't do it.
Right.
Okay? I mean, she's gorgeous in the past, and then she lost the weight, etc. But you see this picture, and I'm being the bad guy, but it's the top 10 hottest women alive. Can't do it. So she's out. So having said all that, let's get to the top 10 hottest women alive. Now, instantly, in the first three, we're going to have tremendous controversy. The top 7, I think, are rock solid. But these 3 are total Cenk Uygur girls. Number 10, Mika Brzezinski. No, I know, all right. But listen.
What, Cenk, are you high or something?
No, but she's a middle-aged woman who carries herself really well, very sexy on air, okay? And I know it's controversial, but I think she's got that sexual allure that really is, that pops, that's different.
It is. I'm sorry about that.
What is
Can
the
I help
solution?
you? I think we could try to pull it back in. So,
There you go, love. Be
Russell
careful,
comes on,
because that's a
breaks the
low-cut
set.
dress.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm only
wow.
flesh and blood. I've got instincts.
Oh, okay.
You've become nervous.
Okay.
Why are you nervous?
Really? No,
You're a powerful woman. You've got a lovely job. What seems to be the trouble?
I don't know.
You've got a hair like Princess Diana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I've never
When
seen
she
that.
was alive, it wasn't being offensive.
Here's a little subtext.
Yes.
I'm petrified of her, and you have her on her heels.
And she's just moved down the
I
other end of the table.
absolutely love this. Keep
Willie, what's
going.
What seems to be the trouble, love?
No, I'm good. Well, now we're going to do a bit of therapy. Would you do therapy with Willy Brandt? With who? Willy Brandt. Would you do therapy with him? I don't think. Because that's where he's heading. Okay. I'm all right. I don't know. Okay, Russell Brand.
Is this what you all do for a living?
Yes.
What is it? You're conveying news to the people of America?
Yes.
People of America, we're going to be okay. Everything's all right. These are your trusted anchors.
Leaning.
Is that a news link? Here's your papers. I'll shuffle them for you.
Shuffle. Look.
Give us that.
That's good. Pen. You need a pen.
Okay, coming up later. Thank you very much, Kat. Okay, we're going to be talking about the situation with Edward Snowden. This whistleblower, is it good what he's done for America, or are our secrets being jeopardized by his intentions? We're going to be talking about that. Also, Bradley Manning. Is Bradley Manning an American hero, or is he compromising the safety of American troops? We care about your views here on Morning Joe. We'll be talking about those later. Here with me are Brian and Kat. Brian, nice tie. What do you think about Edward Snowden? What do you think about the situation with Snowden? Have you got anything to hide? Should we be concerned about the revelations that are occurring?
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand everything he's saying.
No, it's because you're looking at him. When you don't see him and you don't see the lips
I
move,
understand the whole thing.
Stop saying he. I'm present. Russell. What's wrong with your manners?
You're good.
Be polite.
All right, I'm coming in tomorrow with a big necklace, and I'm opening it up.
Look beyond the superficial. That's the problem with current affairs. You forget about what's important. You allow the agenda to be decided by superficial information. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Don't think about what I'm wearing. These things are redundant.
I'm distracted.
Superficial.
Okay.
Don't be distracted. What do you think that gesture means, the way you're touching that bottle? What does that indicate? What is that? What's the subtext of that?
I think we gotta go to break.
You need to lose that ring, Mika, because it don't mean nothing to you. She's grasping for the shaft. She's a shaft grasper.
Russell, that was free, but it was worth the money.
Cenk really wants that MSNBC slot.
This ain't got nothing to do with it. All right, so Mika's number 10. Number 9 is someone I'm fairly sure most of you have not heard of. Her name is Huma Abedin.
Oh yeah, Huma Abedin. Yeah.
Okay, do you know her?
No, of course not. Let's go to her picture.
She's one of the top aides to Hillary Clinton. In fact, she was her right-hand person during the campaign. She just can't, like, just when you think they've gone as crazy as they can, they go to a different level of crazy I didn't know existed. That's one thing to say Huma Abedin shouldn't have stayed with Weiner, she shouldn't have done the press conference, and to criticize her for that, I understand. It's another thing to say that she's unattractive, okay? I believe she's Palestinian, and she's got that super hot Middle Eastern look. Come on.
I'm open to that.
Okay, super sexy, and she's into politics, she's smart.
We got it, Anthony, we got it. I know, you're masturbating to her. We all understand. Please, for once, put it away. Anyway.
Now, with Mika and Huma, you're thinking this list is going to be all politicians. No, Claire McCaskill and Madeleine Albright did not make the list.
And so tonight, he's probably thinking, all right.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of, let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of.
And her upstairs is, you know, quite luxurious. I mean, take a look at that picture. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's nice.
Let it hang all out with a little bit of, and a sprinkle of it. Let it just fall out. I like it when you, girl, baby, make it. Oh.
Now, number 7 is an old classic. She's been hanging on the list for a long, long time, but she deserves it. As one of my friends originally described her, she's tits on a stick. And she has a great face to boot. Old classic, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Mix a little bit of with a little bit of, let it just fall out. Give a little bit of with a little bit of.
And earlier she used to be even higher, but now I got her at number 7. So Jennifer Love Hewitt. Oh God, she's gorgeous. What are you talking about? All right, so we go to number 3 then. Number 3 is also a perennial favorite, also on the Young Turks list for a long time. Scarlett Johansson. Just the definition of juicy. I mean, you just look at that picture and you say, what are you going to do? Not put her in the top 3? I mean, every part of Scarlett Johansson, and I feel bad saying it, you know, but juicy's the right word. You know, gorgeous, cute, sexy, all at the same time, total package. All right, now number 2 is someone who has surged in the last year and helped me to surge in the last year. Now, all right, all right, the definition of sexy. So we got a bunch of hot girls there, some new ones, some different ones that you didn't expect, and some old classics. It's a nice mix. So there you go, the TYT top 10 hottest women alive. You heard it here first, because no one else is doing it.
Yay!
Are you a little nervous?
No, not even.
Did you make the list? It's right here.
Oh, you know, I actually stayed up all night last night wondering whether or not.
Yeah,
I
bet you did. I bet you did. You know, we have this award. You want the award if you win? Okay, all right. 2, very cute. Honorable mention. A lot of people, of course, are very, very into her, but did make the top 10. And then finally, I really struggled the most with Felicia Day from The Guild. 87.
Yes! 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 Yes!
You are so funny. What do you care?
Oh my God! No, I love.
Hot.
Very.
Remember,
cute.
this list is about hotness. Okay, let's keep it real. I've met her in person, but I'm discounting the fact that I think she's smart and that she has a very good personality, right? Because that would be unethical to consider in this list of hotness. Okay, but I am counting the fact, and this is where my bias comes in, that she looks really hot in person, and that's what led me to put her in the top 10. Lisa Nova. Lisa Nova makes the list. Oh, it's been a long time coming. She wasn't on the list last year. She is this year. The crowd goes crazy. And so do I. How you doing?
For like BFF. I was
All right, so Lisa Nova's number 8. All right, number 6 on the list, dropping 5 spots this year. Oh, it's a big fall, but she's still on the top 10. Tanya Uncensored. Now, she was part of Athene Wins and was number 1 last year. But it's a big fall. It's a big fall. I mean, there's still things that are holding up there. Okay, and she's still, beautiful and sexy and cute and all that stuff. But I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it this year. I looked at a lot of videos, to be honest with you. These are very important considerations. All right, and number 5, hottest women. Oh, God, now it's getting nervous. Anna Kasparian! Congratulations! Do you have an acceptance speech ready for us?
No, you can't put me in the list. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
No, but you can't, because then you have a bias. You work with me.
No. Look, I work really hard to get beyond my bias.
I do look really cute in those pictures, though. Go to the other one, Jesus.
Go to the other one.
Go to the other
We want to
picture.
get her the best possible.
I love that picture.
Okay, booyah.
Isaac White took that picture, by the way. Look him up. He's a great photographer.
Okay, number 5 on the list. All right, so who are the 4 women that could beat the legendary Anna Kasparian? Well, number 4 is someone who came in number 2 last year, dropping a little bit, but still very, very high. Obama girl. And, how do you make an argument against Obama girl? Looking at her, you're thinking, who are the top 3, right? I mean, it's hard to beat her, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go to number 3 then. A new person on the top 10 list, and she goes all the way to number 3. Michelle Phan. How are you doing? Okay, Michelle is beautiful and adds a little variety to the list, and the kind of variety I'm known to like. So it's my list, and I think she easily makes the top 3. But displacing Obama girl is a tough thing, but she pulled it off. All right, I think the top 2 are not controversial. Number 2, Venetian Princess.
She was number 1 last year.
No, Tanya was number 1. She was not. I forget if she was 2 or 3, and Obama girl was 2 or 3. But she was in the top 3 last year. She's number 2 this year. She's got those unbelievable eyes, sexy, good body. What more do you want out of somebody? Venetian Princess coming in number 2.
Did you say priestess?
No, that's somebody else. Venetian Princess. Okay. All right. Now, number 1, hottest woman on YouTube. Period. Appropriately named, Hot for Words.
Oh, totally deserves it.
Okay. Oh, absolutely. No. It's not even a conversation. Again, here you could say that I'm biased, but I'm not, because we had her in the studio. But I'm not putting her at number 1 because she came in the studio. I'm putting her at number 1 because once you see her in real life, you're like, damn, she's hot. She's even hotter than she is in the videos, which seems undoable. I don't know how she's hotter in real life.
She is hotter in real life, definitely.
So, and she's hot as a blonde. She's hot as a brunette. So, Hot for Words, number 1 on YouTube. Congratulations. And that's been your top 10 hottest women on YouTube. It is the official TYT list. It cannot be argued with.
Here comes the YouTube top 10 hottest women list. All right. Get pumped, get ready. Top 10 hottest women on YouTube. All right. Now, this is the official TYT list, so nobody can mess with it. That means it's for real and cannot be challenged. Just letting you all know right off the top, okay? Now, can't do it. Can't do it. This one gets disqualified on the teeth for that count. All right, now we go to number 5. Now, the top 5, there's been a lot of hype built up here because the other 5 were already pretty awesome, right? Let alone the ones that didn't make it. So I don't know if they're going to live up to it. Let's go. Number 5 is Mia Rose. Mia Rose from YouTube. This is, of course, the top 10 hottest women on YouTube list. Let's check out Mia. Now, here we get controversial because you can say, hey, you know what?
Mia Rose is like 13.
No, is she?
She looks really young.
But remember, YouTube's a very young audience. I'm not saying just for me, okay? I'm saying for all of YouTube. And that has a lot of different age range. But I can see a lot of guys on YouTube being into Mia, which makes sense. All right, number 4, if you thought Mia Rose was slightly controversial, wait till you get a load of number 4. Anna Kasparian.
I'm not allowed to be on the list.
Why are you not allowed to be on the list? It's my list.
I know,
it's the official YouTube list.
I can't even believe I'm on the list. I didn't even expect that.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I didn't prepare a speech at all. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to thank my mother for, giving me what I got. No, I'm just kidding. No, I can't be on the list. That's not fair.
All right. Well, fair or unfair, yes, there's some controversy involved. But the Young Turks, from what I understand, is rather large on YouTube.
Right.
And I believe Anna Kasparian truly deserves this honor. Okay.
Thank
now
you.
we go to number 3. We don't need any videos of Anna, because there she is. Okay. And number 3, now we're getting into serious hot women now. Venetian Princess.
She's at number 3?
She's at number 3. Why? Would you expect her to be even higher?
I thought she was going to be at your number 1. We had a little backstage conversation about Venetian Princess yesterday, and as soon as I said her name, Jenk said, yeah, she's fucking hot. So I'm like, oh, she's going to be number 1.
Okay. I think the only controversy is whether she should be number 3 or higher.
I think she should be number 1. She is really beautiful. I agree with you.
So who are the top 2 if Venetian Princess comes in number 3? Number 2, hottest woman on YouTube. Obama girl. You forgot about her. You forgot about her.
Oh, you're so right.
Okay, but when you remember Obama girl, you're like, oh yeah, and her real name is Amberly Edinger. She's with Barely Political, and she's smoking hot. The whole country thought she was hot.
Definitely.
And she is totally out of YouTube, and you got to give it to her. And, if you saw this video. So, Obama girl comes in number 2. Venetian Princess comes in number 3. Who the hell is number 1? Who's going to beat all that?
I'm dying of the suspense.
Okay, now this is, again, might be a little controversial, but I think for all of her viewers on YouTube, they're not going to find it controversial at all. Athene wins. Tanya Dervo from Athene wins. Okay.
Oh, you are so done right now.
This woman has built, for her and all the other annoying guys on that channel who no one ever listens to, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about, has built an enormous following based on cleavage alone. Okay? And if you don't believe it, you believe me. You go to Athene Wins' website, I'm sorry, the YouTube channel, and you're going to see what it's all about. Here, give me a little bit more here. Hello?
He uses video game music, instrumental music from video games, and he puts some
All right,
text
now,
on it, which
is Obama
pretty
girl
nice, for example.
hotter? Is she sexier? Maybe, right? Is Athene Wins more beautiful? Almost certainly, okay? But as far as Tanya is concerned, I think she looks cute, lovable, sexy. She's got that in a real girl kind of way, the Scarlett Johansson look. So I'm getting a little carried away, but she's got that juicy look that guys go, So I'm putting her at number 1.
Oh, you're so wrong.
You're
so
not
wrong.
buying it.
No, I don't. I think she should have been at number 10. In fact, I think some of the people who didn't even make it on the list should have belonged there. Come on.
You're not buying it?
No, I'm not. She looks like any girl that I could run into on the street.
But that's part of her great allure, except she's not. She's a really hot girl.
Because she shows her tits?
Well, first of all, that never hurt anyone. Okay?
I know.
But second of all, no, she looks super sexy on top of everything else. All right, so that is my official list. You want to argue with it, dispute it? I hear we allow it, man. This is a free speech zone. We're all about that on the Young Turks.
Oh, Jenk, you make me so hot. Jenk, you make me so hot, you sexy man. What the hell was that? What was that?
Hey, I don't know, man. Look, we got it on tape. So.
Wow, that made me super uncomfortable. What was that?
All right, now that is the first ever official top 10 YouTube hottest women list. We will do it every year going forward from now on, but it begins right here, right now, and we're looking forward to what you think about it.
She moves her body like a cyclone, and she makes me wanna do it all night long.
I'm not kidding.
This seems inappropriate.
It's beyond inappropriate.
But
this
can't-
is something that TYT would do.
But I can't wait to see the list. I haven't seen it. I can't wait. By the way, without sight unseen.
So, in essence, his plan sort of worked.
Right.
So.
It did. And you know what? Guess what? Child predators can be anyone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to, you know, you pass them on the street. It turns out attractive women who you don't think could be child predators could be child predators. Point made.